She's a movie star and half of a Hollywood supercouple, but Blake Lively's transformation from Gossip Girl queen to mother of four hasn't always been easy. Believe it or not, Blake Lively was bullied as a child because of the way she dressed. Lively's mother loved fashion and would alter adult clothes to fit her. This meant that she had a unique wardrobe, which she enjoyed. However, it made her stand out among her peers at her Los Angeles private school. Lively told Vogue, "People were just downright mean to me. They would make fun of my clothes because I dressed differently than the other kids. They were wrong!" In 2018, she posted an image to Instagram of herself with Big Bird, writing, "Kids used to make fun of me in elementary school by calling me Big Bird because I was too tall and had yellow hair. Here's to making best buddies with the things that once hurt you." While Gossip Girl propelled Lively to fame, it wasn't her first on-screen role. She'd previously appeared in The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants and Simon Says, among other films. But despite working as an actor from a young age, Lively wanted to go to college, specifically Stanford University. Before landing the role of Serena van der Woodsen on Gossip Girl, Lively had deferred her college education for a year and didn't want to put it off any longer. Producers promised the young actor she'd be able to study part-time while working on the series, an arrangement that suited Lively.
For those of you who dream of attending an Ivy League school, this mixer is the most important event of your life.
But no pressure.
But when the show became a hit, Lively's workload left no time for college. Speaking to Vanity Fair, Lively said execs at the CW refused to add a clause to her contract regarding college and instead made a verbal agreement that they then didn't honor, warning, "When they say, 'We promise but we can't put it in writing,' there's a reason they can't put it in writing."
Get it in writing.
Before she was involved with Ryan Reynolds, Lively dated co-star Penn Badgley, who played Gossip Girl's Dan Humphrey during the show's run from 2007 to 2012.
I've waited my entire adolescent life for a date with this girl, and I decided to close the evening with a wave.
At the time, they were both in their early 20s and worked hard to keep their relationship a secret, for fear that the network and executives behind the series would object. However, the two did eventually come out as a couple, because as Lively told Vanity Fair, "We were like, oh no, that's exactly what they want. They wanted us all to date. They wanted us all to wear the same clothes that we're wearing on the show. They wanted that because then it fed their whole narrative. People could buy into this world." Lively has never been afraid of committing to a role, whether that means altering her body like she did for Elvis and Annabelle, in which she played a beauty queen who dies of bulimia, or doing her own stunts. She's been known to go the extra mile. Take the 2016 survival horror film The Shallows, for example.
Stop! Stop! Get out of the water! Get out of the water!
Stranded at sea and pursued by a shark, Lively's character is forced to improvise using her limited supplies to survive. She did almost all of her own stunts in the film and was determined to make the crew proud of her performance, a decision that took a toll on her body. Speaking with Entertainment Weekly, she shared, "It's such a physical movie. There's a scene where I'm swimming up to the buoy and I crack my face underwater and my nose is pouring blood, and that was real. That happened. I wasn't supposed to crack my face underwater." While many actors would have bailed, Lively felt like she had a point to prove, recalling, "I thought, I'm going to keep going during this take unless I pass out." In the 2020 action thriller film The Rhythm section, Lively plays a woman seeking to avenge her family after they're killed during a terrorist attack. There were lots of action sequences in the film, and unfortunately, Lively got injured when a stunt went wrong. During a fight scene between Lively and Jude Law, she hurt her hand so badly that production was stalled for 6 months. She told Good Morning America, "My hand basically turned to feta cheese. I was like lunging toward Jude Law with my fake rubber knife. My hand collided with his elbow."
I, broke some things and dislocated some things and severed a ligament, and yeah, it was pretty intense.
Lively underwent 2 separate surgeries and a painful physical therapy regimen to regain full use of her hand. The injury was ultimately integrated into the movie. Lively's character can be seen wearing a hand brace. Outside of acting, Lively has kept herself busy with an array of additional business ventures. These include the Blake Brown hair care line, as well as Betty Buzz and Betty Booze drinks, which include non-alcoholic mixers and flavored canned cocktails.
Your drink? I need a martini.
Oh, yeah, I like martinis. I haven't had one in a long time.
But Lively's first venture outside of acting went up in flames. In 2014, Lively launched a lifestyle website called Preserve. Focusing on unique products from creators across the United States, Preserve sold things that had been specially selected by Lively herself. Lively's original mission was to make a difference in people's lives, whether superficially or in a meaningful way. About a year later, Lively shut down Preserve, telling Vogue, "We launched the site before it was ready. I never thought I would have the bravery to actually do that, to take the site dark and to say, you know what, I haven't created something that is as true and impactful as I know it can and will be."
I hope to never, ever, ever be complacent, because I think that that's one of the most tragic things that I could ever be.
Lively had no real aspirations of entering show business despite the fact that much of her family is part of the industry. Speaking to The Independent, she admitted that she felt as though she had fooled producers when she won her role in The Private Lives of Pippa Lee, adding that she's completely shy when the cameras aren't rolling. Over the years, Lively's been able to get her insecurities under control. She's spoken about how having children has helped her feel more confident and open with who she is as a person. Telling Forbes, "Once I had children, that just became even more profound because my time was even more precious. But also, I think having children for me made me feel so much more in my skin. I never felt more myself or at ease in my own body or more confident. Not to say that there aren't a bevy of insecurities coming at me a million times a day, but I just feel incredibly settled." The influence of Lively's parents was essential in helping her establish a career in the entertainment industry. Both her mother and father worked in Hollywood. Elaine Lively worked as a talent scout, while Ernie Lively was an actor who had roles in everything from Turner and Hooch to The West Wing. Lively would accompany her parents to the acting classes they taught because they didn't want to pay for a babysitter. So perhaps it's no surprise that she ended up following in her father's footsteps.
I was coaching him and picking out his outfits when I was like 5.
But in 2021, Lively and her family were left heartbroken when Ernie Lively died. The Hollywood Reporter confirmed that he passed away at the age of 74 at his home in Los Angeles. He was surrounded by his wife and children, with the cause of death given as cardiac complications. 8 years earlier, Ernie Lively had groundbreaking surgery involving injecting stem cells into his heart to help repair damaged tissue. The process allowed him to return to a more active lifestyle and feel healthier than he had previously. Lively and Reynolds have made it a mission to try and keep their personal lives private. For the most part, this means the couple's 4 children have stayed out of the public eye. The two actors have made a point of keeping the names and even the genders of their kids secret for as long as possible. Unfortunately, the privacy of their children has not always been in their hands. Lively has experienced a number of upsetting moments with professional photographers who've gone to extreme lengths to try and snap images of her with her children. Writing in a now-deleted Instagram post, Lively explained that having grown men jump out and follow her with her young children was traumatic for them. She went on to say, "My children were being stalked by men all day, jumping out and then hiding. A stranger on the street got into words with them because it was so upsetting for her to see." One of Reynolds' closest friends was even discovered trying to sell private images of one of their babies. Speaking to GQ about the betrayal, Reynolds said, "It was like a death. It was like one of those devastating things to find out." The sexual harassment and misogyny at the heart of the entertainment industry has come to light in a big way since producer Harvey Weinstein was sentenced to 16 years in prison for rape and sexual assault in 2022. It quickly became apparent that sexual misconduct in Hollywood was widespread, as more and more actors were emboldened to speak out about their experiences thanks to the Me Too movement. Lively was not exempt, revealing that she was on the receiving end of frequent sexual harassment from a makeup artist. While she didn't name the production, Lively did detail some of the abuse she experienced and said that her complaints were ignored for months. In fact, action was only taken against the individual after Lively spoke to a lawyer. The harassment involved unwanted physical touching and non-consensual filming. Speaking with the Los Angeles Times, she revealed, "He was saying things inappropriately, insisting on putting my lipstick on with his finger. I was sleeping one night on location and I woke up and he was filming me. I was clothed, but it was a very voyeuristic, terrifying thing to do." Lively and Reynolds met on the set of the box office bomb that was Green Lantern, and rumors that the pair were dating soon began to swirl, although official confirmation that they were an item didn't come until the following year. They got married on September 9, 2012 after less than a year together. The wedding took place at Boone Hall Plantation in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, a location that NBC described as featuring, quote, 9 slave cabins referred to as Slave Street. The couple's choice of venue understandably caused controversy at the time, and the couple were criticized again in 2018 after Reynolds expressed his support for the majority black cast of Marvel's Black Panther. It wasn't until 2020 that the couple acknowledged that they'd made a mistake choosing Boone Hall Plantation as their wedding venue. Reynolds told Fast Company, "It's impossible to reconcile. What we saw at the time was a wedding venue on Pinterest. What we saw after was a place built upon devastating tragedy." This admission came on the heels of the couple donating $200,000 to the NAACP Legal Defense Fund. In an accompanying statement shared on Instagram, Lively said, "We remain in awe of the organization." The couple also revealed that they had renewed their vows in a separate ceremony at their home. If you or anyone you know has been a victim of sexual assault, help is available. Visit the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network website or contact RAIN's National Helpline at 1-800-656-HOPE. 4673.